All right, everybody. It's the Rack Me Football podcast. What's this podcast called, Tony?
It's not the This Guy Gets Us podcast.
The Rack Me Football podcast.
Florida's Greatest is on location. That is the Atlantic Ocean behind me. With me is Ken Mosca, Tony Mazer, and we have a very special guest, fan favorite, one of my favorite comedians, Earl Skakel from Los Angeles, California, who I met a fan of yours yesterday in Miami.
Yeah, he showed me a picture of you, and then he sent me clips going, "Do you know this guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's the Z-Man."
Yeah, he said he saw you at the roast in Nashville, and he said you saw you at a Planet Fitness, and you gave him your number.
Oh yeah, he came up to me in the bathroom at Planet Fitness in Decatur, Alabama, and he's like, "Are you Earl Skakel?" I thought he was like some gay dude about to make a move on me. And he's like, "I loved you in roast battle." I'm like, "I bet you did."
So if someone randomly is going to drop Earl Skakel, I'm going to have to connect. I got to tell Earl. That's a huge name drop.
You know, roast battle is one big happy family of predators.
Man, I've been seeing those lineups you've been posting of Supernova. Wow.
Oh, where do you see that? Where do you see next week's? It's like a who's who.
It's the best.
Tomorrow I drop one. Tomorrow's Supernova flyer is it's really just for LA comics. I don't want to give it away, but outside of LA comics might not get the joke, but it might be my best work.
So do Sorella, any of those guys, they just avoid you because you're just calling them all out?
Well, I had one guy ask me to take him off the flyer. I'm like, "It's not my problem, bro."
Not my problem, bro.
This is a guy who, I won't say the name, but you could probably guess. We were filming the roast battle commercial for season 1. It's some like abandoned tire house, and it was a 20-hour day. It was a very long day. And this guy is looking at 2 Comedy Store waitresses and just goes, "I think I would like to rape you." It was just incredible.
Have you had any?
He was not kidding.
Wow. Have you had any more run-ins with Jeremy Piven since you confronted him that one day?
No, well, almost. I went into John Varvatos in West Hollywood, and all the sales staff ran over to me like a football huddle. And he's like, "Hey, Piven's in the dressing room trying to get a free jacket out of us." And I left. Doing my shop. And I said, honestly, to one of my moles there, "Who buys more, him or me here?" And they're like, "Oh, no question, you do."
Was it Phil Wang, Earl?
No, it was not.
Okay.
Take a look at the second flyer and just.
All right, I will. I'm laughing my ass off at these flyers.
They're really only for LA comics, just because I don't think Supernova is a known thing in New York or back east. But if you put 2 and 2 together, I think you get the point I'm trying to make.
I enjoy all your little beefs, like with Dante, Supernova. I love it all. Keep up the good work.
I fight the fight. I speak for the unspoken. But my beefs are legitimate. Dante is trying to rip off younger comics. Same thing with Jeff. Well, write me free jokes and keep roast battle going, and you can open for me in Brea. Hubba hubba.
By the way, I don't know, Tony, I don't know if you know this, but Dante, he has his own his agency. It's called Golden Arts Entertainment. You know who their star client used to be until they had to fire him?
I have a feeling. Oh, Stuttering John. Yeah, I thought you were going to say Ron Jeremy.
Oh, him too. Yeah.
Who's the bigger star here?
But that's how bad John is. Dante fired him.
Wow.
But this business is full of such predators, and I don't mean the hockey team in Nashville. It's and the people who speak out about it. I know this is a football podcast, but they're the ones who get ostracized. "Hey, Earl, you should be quiet. It's not your fight." It's unbelievable.
Hey, my New York Rangers are off to a fast start, Earl. That
They
second
are.
line is score. That second line is scoring some goals. That kid is amazing.
They got a great team.
Yeah.
Lafreniere, he's
Yep.
stepping it up, and I'm interested in the guy the Kings drafted. I think right after him, Byfield. So he's the young. He's going to be good too, but the Rangers have a good young team. They got some good veterans. They're the perfect age team.
There's a good mix there. There's a good mix. Could be
young,
a
old.
good year for Madison Square Garden because the Knicks are off to a good start too. So
I mean,
the Garden is back.
I know, like, this is the last. I don't want to hog up football time with hockey time, but that East Coast or the Eastern Conference in hockey might be the toughest conference I've ever seen in any sport. Like,
Yep.
Literally, there will be at least two teams who should make the playoffs that won't. Carolina,
Yep.
Washington, Pittsburgh, the Rangers, the Islanders are not horrible.
Nope.
It's really, Florida's arguably the best team in the league. And Tampa, they lost last night, but it's you feel bad for those one or two teams who, if they were just in the West Coast, they'd probably be in first place.
Yeah, they'd be in. All right, Chad.
Well, hey, listen, before we get to week 8, who are the leaders? Who's winning so far, Ken?
Well, I'll tell you, Jim Florentine won the week with the highest win total to date with 11.
Wow.
So Jim Florentine had 11, and Ryan Z continues to lead. He's at 60, but a few of us closed the gap. Gary Coe is at 56. I'm at 56. Dan Florentine's at 55. So it's a few people are bunched up in there.
Where's Tony stand?
Bringing up the rear. I'm the caboose, I believe.
He is dead last, Chad. Thanks for bringing that up. Tony's dead last.
Don't listen to me. I'm the opposite. I'm King Midas. If you listen to what I'm saying, I try to give some analysis. I pick my game and just go, oh, that's good analysis from Tony. I'll do the opposite, and you're going to be a lot better for it.
Yeah, but you're coming off an 8-win week though, Tony.
Oh yeah, it could be much worse.
Problem is you had a 4-win week, a 3-win week.
Well, one of those was getting drunk in New York and probably altered my picks, and then another was there's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
So not only did
real fast, this is a very tough year to analyze football games because there's so many bad teams that are doing better than we thought. There's good teams who aren't quite doing as good. Tampa Bay. Geno Smith is playing better than Tom Brady. I mean, who would have ever thought that was possible?
Yeah, the fact that the Packers and the Buccaneers are both 3-4 right now, we never would have thought that.
And that Carolina, I'm sure every bettor from here to Uganda had Tampa minus that. I think it was 14. Carolina
Earl minus 11, and on this call right now, only one guy took Carolina. That Tony Mazer.
It was just too many points. I think Carolina's going to lose. I couldn't believe it.
The Steelers almost beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, Tony Mazer took Carolina. Yeah.
If they had TJ Watt, I think they'd be were they 2-5 now? I think they'd be at least 4-3. Any game they lose by under a touchdown, TJ Watt would have made a difference. Of course, in Buffalo, that probably would have been a loss either way. But it's just and they've had Fitzpatrick out for a significant time. You can't lose those two guys, and when you're calling guys up off the practice roster and they're starting. It ain't Trubisky's fault. It ain't Pickett's fault. But, they got to get rid of Canada. He's not the right offensive coach for those two quarterbacks. And the talent that the Steelers have, they should be at least 4-3.
I heard you say that on the other football show that you're on.
Yeah, I mean, if you, I'm on 3 podcasts right now that nobody listens to. I mean,
I listen. That's where he's Earl the Pearl, Chad, on the other football podcast. Earl the Pearl. Who do you have?
I put a lot of time into these podcasts. Make no money on, but it's
fucking
true
love
though. If you look at the Steelers receiver core, and I know we got to get to the picks. You got Pickens, Johnson, Claypool, Freiermuth, Harris out of the backfield, and Canada has them throwing like 5-yard dunk plays. It's just like, I don't get that.
Well, the thing is, Swan and Stallworth are due back this week, Earl, so that could change, you know, the receiving core.
This just in, the Dolphins medical staff has cleared JFK for Sunday's game. I think I used that one the last time. Sorry.
You did. Yeah, it still plays.
I
Go
don't like
ahead.
to repeat jokes on podcasts, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. I just woke up.
Well, let's get rolling. Week 8, everybody. We got Ryan Sickler's Baltimore Ravens in Tampa tonight. I won't be in Tampa tonight. Ravens are giving up -1. What's going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ken Mosca?
They have a guy going through a divorce and a terrible offensive line and a couple of wide receivers who one in particular who was suspended a game. Of course, they lost that game. There's a lot going on. And if you heard what Stephen A. Smith said today, and by the way, Chad, today's Wednesday, so the game's tomorrow. But
oh yes,
Stephen A.
Maybe Chad was trying to post it for tomorrow and just go like, see, we're making theater of the mind.
Stephen A. Smith said today that it's a conspiracy that Tampa Bay is losing because they have a black coach, coach. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but yes, that was said by him earlier today.
How much money does he make again, Stephen A. Smith?
What, $7 million a year, $8 million a year, something like that?
Just to say stupid shit. Nice.
Just to say stupid shit.
And how come Earl can't get paid for it?
I can't get paid $1 for 7 podcasts I'm on. The fuck?
Tampa Bay's a desperate team. They can't fall to 3-5, and Baltimore's Heckle and Jekyll too. It's 1 point. I got to take. It's 1 point. I got to take Tampa Bay.
Tony,
what's with these wives named Giselle who are concerned about their husband's brain injuries? See, political joke too. Reference.
Someone's been writing.
Hi, good night, everybody.
Me.
Earl.
This just in: Dolphins medical staff cleared JFK. I'm going to use it now.
Last week I watched that Ravens game, and of course I missed that game as far as picking that, because I think wasn't it like -4 Baltimore and they won by 3, and I picked Baltimore, so of course that's how it works. But I mean, Baltimore is a pretty flawed team in a lot of ways. There's a lot of holes, but I don't know what's going on with Tampa Bay. And I'm looking here, it says -1, right?
Yes,
-1.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Baltimore in this one. They've got a little bit more momentum. And I mean, Brady's throwing to guys like he threw to Mike Evans last week for a wide open would have been touchdown, and he
saw that.
it. He's throwing to guys, they're hitting him in the face mask and they're not catching it. So I mean, yeah, there is some blame on Brady, but they're just this team is just not. Maybe I will go down the Stephen A. Smith. Maybe they're just trying to underperform just to get the black coach out of there.
Well, listen, Brady wanted Bruce Arians out, so he got it his way. So he's got a guy who's been a good defensive coordinator and a lousy head coach.
Yep.
You know,
there's some guys are just coordinator guys, and that just seems what Todd Bowles is. He's just
one of them.
He's just one of those guys. So I'm going to go to Baltimore.
Earl Skakel, who do you got?
I mean, this is a tough one. You know, I personally think Brady's probably happy. We've all gone through bad breakups. Can you imagine? You're Tom Brady. You got all the money in the world. You're still a really good-looking guy. How much pussy you're going to get?
In Tampa.
Yeah, in Tampa. A lot of it.
He could get laid in Steubenville, Ohio. So I don't buy the divorce is messing
the home of Dean Martin, Steubenville.
How do you know Earl, how do you know Steubenville, Ohio?
Because I was watching an old episode of Get Smart the other day, and he had a line where the punchline was Steubenville, Ohio. So by the way, I was
that reminds me, I got to take this phone call. All right.
Dude,
Oh,
it's funny you did that. I was in an elevator with him
Jesus.
once because he lived in my building, and I thought,
Don
I'll
Adams?
say- yeah. And I said, hey man, can I borrow your shoe phone? I gotta make a call. And he looked at me and told me to fuck off.
yeah.
Don
he's-
Adams told you to
hey,
fuck off?
Yeah.
he used to come to Atlantic City a lot, and this is well before casinos, a lot. And he was not a nice guy, not a nice guy at all. And
Well-
he had quite the reputation. He used to hang out at the 500 Club, and that's where Skinny D'Amato put Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis together, the old 500 Club. And his reputation was terrible. He was a prick, especially with the women. He was known to smack a few of them around too when he had a couple of drinks in him.
Well, he's Inspector Gadget. He can do where the hell he wants. Go at Gadget hand.
The weird thing is, though, he had this vibe of I'm done talking about Agent 86, Get Smart, The Chief, Larrabee, which I get. It's really what he's known for, other than Gadget. But then he gets
Mr.
into a
Whoopi.
car-
He'll be
Well-
a Mr. Whoopi and Chumley.
He gets into a car where the license plate says Smart 86. So like,
What a prick! What a freaking hack!
so get back to the picks. It's just going to be a very close game. I'm actually going with Baltimore. It's crazy to think Brady could lose 4 in a row, but there's just something off about this Tampa team. Evans dropped that one. I mean, when did you see Evans drop any pass, let alone a pass that I could have caught in a flag football game? So I'll go with the Ravens.
Yeah, chalk me up for the Ravens too, Ken
Ooh.
Mosca.
I'm the lone wolf.
You're the lone wolf, and let's keep this thing rolling. We're going into Sunday, October 30th. The Brant Tobler's Denver Broncos versus the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Jacksonville's given up -2.5. Ken.
It's in London, dude.
Oh, it is
It's in London. So
9:30. Yeah.
Jacksonville -2.5. I was having a hard time with this one. I really do think that Denver is going to bounce back, but I'm having a hard time with 2.5. I'm taking the Broncos.
Tony.
How many of these London games have Jacksonville played in? It just seems like they've always been the team that they've tried to float out there and experiment with is, oh no, this is the team they're going to pull them out of Jacksonville, move them to London. So, hey, maybe for their future fans, they're going to put on a good show. So I'm going to go Jaguars in this one.
And I'll tell you, I'm going to say this to you too. If Denver loses, Nathaniel Hackett's going to get fired. You watch.
They'll leave him in London. Yeah.
Yeah, they will leave him there, help to get his own plane ride home. And don't forget, Dom Capers is on that staff as a defensive assistant. And we all know about Dom Capers. He'll be an interim coach. That's my inside sources tell me.
Earl, before we go to the pick with you, do you have any more Don Adams stories?
Yeah, he had I lived on 2160 Century Park East, and it's 2 gigantic 21-story buildings. It was a real hornet's nest of freaks in there. Actually, when we had real fast, because I know we're up against the clock, when we had the earthquake in '94, our building was on rollers. So the whole building is going side to side like we're doing stretches. And the girl who lived next door to me was the original girl from King Kong, Fay Ray.
Oh, Fay Ray.
Wow.
So I thought, this is my chance to be funny. So I had to knock on her door. I had to knock on her door while the building was still swaying, and she looked a little frazzled because it was 4 a.m. Still beautiful for what had to be 80 years old. And she's like, "What's wrong? What's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, I think he's coming back for you." She just looked at me like, "Get the fuck out of my face." But I had to walk her downstairs because it was, it was buildings, electricity was out, and I'm just trying to do shtick with her, and it wasn't working.
I like how every celebrity says, "Get the fuck out of my face."
That's
Basically, they don't say that phrase, but you could tell. She was like, "Dude, just get me downstairs."
I think he's coming back for you.
I'm going to go with Denver in this one. I mean, at some point, Russell Wilson has to turn this around. So, it's like last night the Kings played Tampa. Tampa had beaten them 10 in a row, and the Kings dominated them last night. So at some point, the trend has to, reverse. I think this is the point.
I just want more like Ed Platt stories or Bernie Coppell.
Oh,
Or
I love. I mean, well, it's
Larry
funny.
Storch.
My favorite character on Get Smart was Larrabee. He was the
Yeah.
really stupid like guy they would send out to be the mole, and now I live on Larrabee. I love how I just gave out my address on a football podcast.
Don't worry, no one's watching.
They're watching more than they are the other podcasts I'm doing.
I think we're the only podcast not doing stuttering John content at this point.
Yes.
I mean, right now I feel like I'm on Rogan.
Who do you have, Chad?
I'm going to go with Denver. I don't think they're going to win the game, but I think 2.5. They're going to get it. It's going to be there. That's just, I have no analysis, but let's keep the ball rolling. Let's keep this train rolling. Carolina Panthers in Atlanta. Atlanta's getting up -4.5 as my ex-girlfriend texts me. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Who are you calling on?
It's a pick 'em. Whoever wants to speak.
Go ahead, Tony. You go first.
I'll go. I'm gonna go Atlanta. I'm gonna say they'll be 4-4. Panthers had a nice win last week, but it's not gonna last. There's not a good team, and they're also we're at the point in the year they're looking at their draft stock, and they don't want to win some of these meaningless games of teams that won't make the playoffs. So I kind of think there's going to be a little bit of a push and pull there. So yeah, I'm gonna say Atlanta at home at this one.
Earl.
I mean, this is another. There's so many bad teams in this league. You know, this will have the ratings of I don't know, another Brendan Schaub special. I don't know. I mean, I'll go with Atlanta at home. Although I do, you know, Carolina's probably going to come in not cocky, but like they'll give them a game. I think it'll be a close game, but Atlanta will win.
I like what Earl said on that. I'm going to go with Atlanta too. Ken, you close it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a close game. So if it's going to be a close game, maybe Atlanta doesn't cover. So I hate to go off of one game, so I'm not going to. So I'm going to take Atlanta as well.
Okay, another 1:00 game. We got the the Bears versus Ken Mosca's Dallas Cowboys. Commissioner, they're giving up -9.5. Where do you stand with this?
Yeah, open to 10. It's 9.5 now. I mean, the Bears, well, they look pretty good against New England. Dallas is going to win the game. I just don't see them covering. So yeah, I am struggling. I mean, at 9.5, it's a lot. That's a lot. I'll probably regret this. I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to take the Bears and the 9.5.
Tony.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys, even though, once again, even during the Detroit game, their offense, and I know it's just frustrating you every time you tune in, Ken, is that they are just not impressive on offense. But that defense, my God, I think they do it again. I think they make mincemeat out of Justin Fields, and I'm going to say they win by like maybe a touchdown and a half, and probably try to get a defensive takeaway in this one. So I'm going to go with Dallas in this.
And I'm changing mine. I'm going to go with Dallas. They made a trade yesterday. Got that big guy Hankins, defensive tackle, 6'3", 340. And
Larry Hankin, the actor.
Yeah. The
Larry
actor.
Hagman.
He's going to be on my podcast.
Is he really?
Oh yeah.
So I'm switching. I'm taking Dallas. I'm taking Dallas.
Well, since you switched to Dallas, I'm going to switch back to the Bears. So put me down for the Bears. Strawberry Fields forever. Earl, who do you got?
Well, let me ask you guys a question. What is the purpose of this podcast? Is it to just pick winners, or do we include the points in who you think is going to win?
We always include the points. That's what we do. We always include the points.
So this is a podcast for the gamblers, you would say.
Yes.
Because I think Dallas will win the game, but I think Chicago will win with the points.
So you're saying that Dallas will win, but they will not cover.
Yes.
So you're taking the Bears.
I'm saying the exact same thing.
More or less. I mean, it's weird for me to go, I think Dallas is going to win, but I'll take the Bears. But with 9.5, like you said, Ken, that's a lot of points in today's NFL with two offenses. Well, really just the Bears offense that they're going to need all the gimme points they can get at this juncture. So I guess Chicago plus the points.
All right, we go to 1:00 game. We got the Miami Dolphins. By the way, I was in Miami for that Steelers game. I didn't go to the game, but I was at a bar, and man, they love the Dolphins down here. They love them down here in Miami. The Miami Dolphins are taking on Dave Landau's Detroit Lions, and this just in: Dolphins medical staff just cleared Nicole Brown Simpson.
Jesus God.
Miami Dolphins -3.5. Ken.
Wait, hold on. Breaking news. This just in: the Dolphins medical staff has just cleared Terry Schiavo.
Well, that means George Floyd can't be far behind.
Well, he'd be a good receiver.
Yeah.
Be careful how you tackle him.
I was
I
going to say
know.
he was a kick returner because usually he's kneeling in the end zone.
Mazer with from downtown.
I know that was a nice one. You should have called your shot on that one, Tony.
Tony with the haymaker.
You should give that to Jeff Ross. Believe me, he'll take it.
This Detroit team. I mean, yeah, he sure will.
In exchange for no money.
Yeah, you can open for him in Brea next week.
I can get roasted. Great.
You know what he did? When I wrote I'm sorry to cut you off, Ken. When I wrote
Okay.
for the William Shatner roast, he literally said, "Do you want money or the credit?" And at the time, I was like, "I want to be in the credits." And I was on the DVD box. My name, you can Google it. But I had to pick a credit or money. I should have got both.
He came up to me and Willie Hunter one time real fast because we were, Roast Battle sells out every week. And so me and Willie were like, where's all this money going to? Like, people are paying $10 a ticket. Like, and Jeff walked, well, he didn't walk, he waddled up to us. And he's like, guys, Roast Battle's not about the money. It's about the hang. Coming from the guy who gets 90% of the money. What the fuck?
What the
Out
heck?
of town, you bald bastard.
He should go hang himself.
He couldn't. He wouldn't find a rope or a tree strong enough.
Yeah, that's what I say about the Rack Me podcast. It's not about the views. It's about the hang.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure how good the Miami defense is. I really don't know. But up until that Dallas game, Detroit was actually leading the league, and they were shut out once, scoring 34 points a game. Detroit's got a good offense. They turned the ball over 5 times against Dallas. That Dallas defense is much better than the Miami defense. It's 3.5. It's at home. I'm taking Detroit, and I'm taking the 3.5.
Where you at, Ken? Or Earl?
It's just another close game, You think with all the power of that Miami offense, with Hill and Waddle and that running back whose name I'm forgetting, but he's like a world-class sprinter.
Mercury Morris.
Yeah, Mercury Morris. Is he back in the game? By the way, did you love it when they brought the 72 undefeated team out for the coin toss and they start walking off the field and Larry Zonka just wanders off like he was lost? Yeah. I like Detroit, oddly enough. I'm a Jared Goff fan because I don't like how he got treated by the Rams. Took him to a Super Bowl, and they discarded him like he was Dieter Brock. So,
great reference. That's a great reference.
You Canadian football freaks.
Yeah.
Tua looked good for sure, but Detroit at home, it's like they kind of remind me of the Rams' greatest show on turf, where they just score. And I don't know, you think with the speed of that Miami offense, they'll be able to keep up. But I like the Lions in this one.
I'm
going
going
to go Dolphins. I'm going to go Dolphins in this one just because I like how their offense. This could be a pretty high scoring game. And I'm going to give the edge to Miami because Detroit just can't stop anything. Their offense has been pretty efficient, but I'm going to go with the battle of the defense here, and I'm going to give the edge to Miami in a dome.
And I'm going with get up, everybody's going to move their feet, get down, Detroit Rock City. So that's who I'm going with.
I love anytime Kiss plays that song, they always give a fake hometown where they're from. We're from Los Angeles, but when we play to Detroit, then we're from New York, and like what fucking town are you guys from?
Oh, Paul Stanley, like he panders like a motherfucker on stage.
Oh yeah, if they ever play Africa, he'll be like, "Kiss is from Uganda," and like out of control, dude.
Yeah, just put me down for Detroit. Let's keep this thing rolling. I got a 1 o'clock game, Arizona Cardinals versus Nick Swartzen's Minnesota Vikings. He said he was going to do this podcast twice and blew me off. So fuck you, Nick. Minus
He's
3.5.
He's busy. Hey, he's busy with the reboot of Reno 911, isn't he?
I don't think he's in it, even though he had one of the most popular characters.
Oh, he's not in it?
Hollywood.
Okay.
Even Swartzen gets fucked.
Who'd say me? Minnesota's 5-1. They're at home, 2-4 against the spread, and Arizona really, really hasn't looked great. I'm going to take Minnesota and lay to 3.5. I'm not crazy about it, but I don't know if it was a primetime game, I would not be picking Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, but it's not. It's a 1 o'clock game, and you got a team coming from the West Coast too for a 1 o'clock game. So I'm taking the Vikings.
Tony.
I'm going to go with Vikings as well, and only because I want to get in touch with Nick Swartzen. So you, me, Nick, and Jim Florentine can go to Key West and have a Key West content house.
Yes, content
Couple of
house.
weeks.
Key West Content House is coming together. Everyone's going to be there. All the names from Twitter. It's going to be fantastic. Can't wait for Content House. I'm going with the Vikings just because I think they're going to win and they're going to cover. That's what it is. And I don't think the Cardinals are going to score more than they win by a touchdown. The Vikings. Go ahead, Earl.
I like the Vikings. That for some reason they're not getting a lot of respect. Is that my ex-girlfriend in the ocean? I just saw a whale jump off. She left quite an impression on me and my air mattress. Whew, Nelly. I knew she liked food when I pulled out for the first time. There was a turkey on my dick.
I thought you guys broke up on good terms.
No, the last one, we're working through some things. But,
Right.
I'm talking about the ex who I've never seen anyone deep throat a Toblerone bar. I mean, I'm not saying she was lonely, but when she was sexually assaulted, she asked the guy what he was doing tomorrow.
We're getting the whole act today. Beautiful. Front row at a comedy show.
Let's roast.
This is beautiful.
I like Minnesota. For some reason, they're not getting a lot of respect. I think they're one of the better teams in the league. They're not the most exciting team in the league, and like Kirk Cousins being the starting quarterback is, I don't know, it's like Lorenzo Lamas being the lead in a movie. It just doesn't do it for you. But they're 5-1 for a reason. So I like the Vikings, and I think Chuck Foreman's going to have a huge game.
It's like Billy Zane being a lead in a movie.
Yeah, I just like he's a great actor, but for some reason I think because of his toupee, he doesn't get a lot of love. So I'll go with the Vikings.
Jeremy Piven starred in The Goods, directed by Neil Brennan.
That movie would have bombed if Cecil B. DeMille would have directed it. No, that movie was so bad. I'm going to use the Skakel classic here. If that movie was playing on Tower 2 on 9/11, I would have rooted for the plane to get there faster.
Skakel classic.
This is here we go. That's why he's the number one requested guest on this podcast.
Classic Skakel.
All 11 of them.
Hey, I have a question for you guys. What goes into 13 twice?
What?
A roast battle contestant. All right, now I'm bombing. All right, let's get to the picks.
Where are we at, Ken? Earl's on a roll.
1 o'clock game, Raiders at Saints. Raiders minus 1.5.
Sam Tripoli's Raiders, 1.5 in New Orleans. Let's see if we can get Earl going again. Earl, what do you got?
Do you have any Katrina jokes?
Yeah, I love that song, "Walking on Sunshine."
How about that ninth ward?
Yeah. Boy, I tell you, the Craigslist casual encounters during Katrina were a doozy. Till the girl I saw floating by me on the raft. That's a Skakel classic. That's a deep cut. That's on the big side.
You got to get a shirt that says Skakel Classic.
No, I mean, well, we'll see what's going on. I got something in the works. I can't discuss right now, but let's discuss this game. The Raiders aren't as bad as they seem, but bad teams lose a lot of close games, and I think they've lost all their games by like a total of 13 points or something. But I like the Saints at home. Who the hell is that walking behind you? Is that Epstein? Where the fuck are you staying? At the mental ward? Who was that guy? The Undertaker? I like the Saints.
Who do you got, Ken, Commissioner?
I'm taking Las Vegas. They got to get their shit together. They have too much talent, and the coach is already hearing the crap, trading away players to the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm taking Vegas. I'm laying the 1.5.
By the way, how hot was Elizabeth Shue in leaving Las Vegas? I mean, she was, man. Oh my goodness, the hottest she's ever been.
Made my dick crooked.
I bet it did. This podcast is out of control. We're trying to get
it's your fault. It's your fault, Earl.
You got a guy saying his dick was crooked. I'll take the Saints. I'll tease him with the parlay.
What's Andrew Shue doing nowadays?
He was the brother, right?
Yeah, but he was on Melrose Place. You're on a show like that. That guy never has to work again. Like, he probably gets, I don't know, I guess 10 grand a month from that show from SAG.
We should get him on the show.
Is that Eddie Pepitone?
That's actually not a bad. He kind of looks like that. I just looked this up. Speaking of Jeff Ross, Andrew Shue is married to Amy Robach, who is that woman on ABC that had the story about Epstein, and ABC said, no, you got to kill that story. You can't talk about the Epstein Island and pedophilia. So
yeah, she was on NBC for a long time.
Yeah, let's protect Epstein. What a good guy he was.
How many times did Jeff Ross fly to Epstein Island? Is he on the flight logs?
I can't, as much as I don't like the guy, I can't say, it does seem like a good pairing. I'll just say that.
You think they would have got along?
Like peanut butter and jelly. It's like, but I will say this. I've watched every Epstein documentary. The guy was a good looking guy.
Yeah. Ghislaine had a nice rack too.
No joke there. He was a good looking guy.
Yeah, he didn't have
his own age.
Yeah. Who did Tony pick?
I'll go Raiders.
Chad?
I'm gonna go Raiders.
Oh.
Yeah, you like the Raiders? Are you okay? Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. He says go Raiders, so I'm going Raiders. All right, let's get this thing going. 1 o'clock game. We got the Patriots in New York taking on the Jets. Patriots -1.5. Ken,
how's that for respect for the Jets, huh? 5-2, beating some really good teams even on the road. Now, I think this is being driven by those two major injuries they have. Although they did swing a trade for that running back from where is that running back from, Tony? Can't think of his name.
Who, Curtis Martin?
No, yeah, Curtis Martin. John Riggins. Thank you. John Riggins. Emerson Boozer are still on IR, but Rigo is going to suit up. I'm taking the Jets. I think New England's going to win, only because it's Belichick and stuff like that, and they're struggling. Jets have those two major injuries, but their defense is good. But I'm taking the Jets, and I'll take the 1.5.
Tony.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jets in this one. I'm going to go. I understand the injuries, but that's a little disrespect, especially after how bad New England played last week too. So I'm going to go Jets at home here.
Throw me in as the Jets as well. Earl, you close it out.
I like the Jets, which is insane to me, given the last 10 years of dominance by the Patriots. But Belichick isn't quite the coach we all think he is without Brady. So if Brady was playing, I'd take the Patriots. But Jets are they remind me of the Tampa Bay Lightning with John Tortorella. They just they believe, and whether it's just a temporary 1-2 year thing where they love this coach and they're playing for him right now, they love this coach. So I like the Jets.
Well, as
All right.
Dennis Green said a long time ago, they are who we thought they were.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. We got a 1:00 game. We got Earl Skakel's Pittsburgh Steelers versus Ron Bennington and Big J Okerson's Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. Philly's given up -11. Earl, you lead the charge.
Oof.
I mean, this is a tough one. I mean, on my other football podcast, I've picked the Steelers to get blown out twice, and they have. If we had TJ Watt, I would say take the Steelers plus the points. But the Steelers' offense is just non-existent, man. And I think this could be another 3-touchdown win against them. I kills me to say this. I'm going with the Eagles.
Speaking of TJ, here's a little name drop, Tony Mazer. Guess
Uh-oh.
who texted me?
Who?
TJ Ward.
TJ Ward.
Because
What's he doing now?
We follow each other on social media, and I guess he saw us playing down here in Florida, down in Miami, and he asked where at. And I told him, and he goes, "I'm gonna try to stop by." He never did, but I just wanted to do a name drop since he was.
TJ Ward was a strong safety who he would the only thing he would do is he would try to get the big hit to be on ESPN, but not actually tackle the guy.
Yeah, nice guy. I like him and his cousin Jacob. Who do you got, Tony?
I'll go Philly. I've seen enough Steeler games this year just to see that it's just the Steelers are a frustrating team dealing with the injuries and inefficient offense. And, as much as people are excited to see what they can go into year 2 with Kenny Pickett, you're just not seeing enough right now. And that Steelers offense is it's so sluggish. So I'm just going to go with the hot team right now. I'm going to say Philly stays undefeated.
Ken.
Yeah. Hey, Earl, there's a chance that Watt comes back this week. I'm reading it now. So he worked out.
He's very few players in this league are difference makers, but like I said earlier, before we got into the pedophilia stuff, he's a difference maker. I mean, I honestly believe they'd have at least 2 more wins if he was in the lineup. Now, if he's in the lineup, that defense is pretty special with him and Fitzpatrick and Hayward, and Highsmith is, I think, the leading sack getter right now. So he's kind of come in out of the blue. I would take the Steelers plus the points if Watt's in the lineup.
Well, who's not coming back? Chris Watts' family. You watch that Netflix special?
Oof.
Who's that? I'm out of the loop.
Okay, this guy Chris Watts just murdered his kids and his wife because he was having an affair.
Chad talked about it. Chad, you talked, You talked about that. Yeah, it was a few weeks back, Chad. I did watch it, man. You were right. It was fucking really it gave you douche chills.
Yeah.
I think he judged roast battle last night.
I think he's on Supernova next week.
Well, I might just have a new addition to the flyer.
You have to
I have to ask my guy, I said, because my guy's the best. His name's Andrew Stoken. If I'm not trying to plug someone's business, but like if anyone needs a Photoshop guy, there's none better. I said, how many can I squeeze in on these flyers without ruining the authenticity of the look? He's like, I can get 12 to 14 and no problem, brother.
I'm taking the Eagles because even if Watt plays, he's going to be somewhat limited. And it's for some reason I thought it was in Pittsburgh. It's not. It's in Philadelphia. I would have taken Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, even if Watt was limited or didn't play. But it's in Philly, and that Philly defense is really good, and they're going to give Pickett all he can handle. So,
well, I hate to agree with Colin Cowherd. I find most of those morning talk show guys just absolute boobs. Guys commenting on pro athletes who never played fucking kickball. But he did make a good point is, what you get with Trubisky. Like, he is what he is. I'm a fan, actually, but I don't think he was the problem. But, this let Pickett experience this. The Steelers probably will get blown out, but, this is a building year. I just hope that, the Steelers receivers, Pickens, Johnson, Claypool, that they don't start acting out going, hey, we want out of here. I have a feeling it's weird that they keep drafting receivers with Claypool in the mix. Like, that tells me that they see a problem with him down the future. I'm not trying to start rumors, but that's weird. They drafted Pickens when
I think you're starting rumors.
Yeah.
Well, it just as a fan, it struck me as soon as they picked Pickens, given the other needs that they have in offensive line and some defensive liabilities, that you would pick another receiver. So I think down the road, they see a Antonio Brown like problem with Claypool.
Well, the rumor's officially out there now, so everyone's talking. Where are we at? Who's next?
So it's you. It's you.
I'm gonna go easily. I'm going Steelers, just to the points. I don't know if they'll win the game, but that's where I'm at with that.
You're taking the 11. All right, go ahead. Let's power through.
Yeah, we got to get through this. 405, Nate Bargatze's Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans. Thanks for Deshaun Watson, guys. In Texas, -2. Tennessee's given up, Ken.
I'm taking Tennessee. I'm going to be quick here, Chad. I'm taking Tennessee because they're starting to get on a roll.
Same. I'm going to go Tennessee. I saw they're getting a new stadium too at some point, and it looks. I mean, they're doing it right. So I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Buddy
Tennessee.
Buddy of mine is one of the lawyers on that project, Tony.
Oh, really?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Who sang that song? Tennessee. Tony, who was that?
Chris Stapleton. I don't know.
No, Tennessee. I know it doesn't matter. I'm going with Tennessee. I heard Sheryl Crow lives in Nashville. Anyways, you're up, Earl.
Where are they playing?
They're at Houston, Earl, at Houston, and they're giving up 2 points.
Oh, I'll take Tennessee. But, Houston's another one they're kind of like Carolina, where they're not quite as bad as they seem. But I think Tennessee, they're going to put it together one of these games where everything works. Tannehill, Henry, everything's on the same page. And I think this is that game.
All right, let's go on. Let's go to a 425 game. We got the Washington Redskins versus Bob and Tom's Indianapolis Colts in Indiana. Tom Griswold once said I can go to a game with his tickets. And when I asked him about it, he said, I don't have them. So thanks a lot, Tom, Bob, or whoever.
Christy Lee, nice.
Yeah. -3, the Colts. Tony, who do you got?
I'm going to go Colts. They benched Matt Ryan, and for the better, they said that Ehlinger is going to be the quarterback basically the whole season. So I'm going to say they have that momentum and going with Indy in this one.
Earl.
Where are they playing? I'm sorry, it cut out.
The Redskins.
The Redskins are playing the Colts in Indiana.
I'm going to go with the Redskins. I don't think it's a good look that you replace your starting quarterback with a 6th-round draft pick. Although I agree with Tony, they'll have a little bit of momentum. The new guy, you want to play good with him, but a 6th-round, even though Brady was a 6th-round pick, he's an outlier. I just think that Redskin defense will really confuse this kid.
All right. Did we get them all in, Ken?
No, we got to do me and you. So I'm taking the Redskins, and what Earl just said. That Redskin defense is really good, and Heineke's the new quarterback with the Redskins because Wentz is out with thumb surgery. Wentz will not get his job back. Heineke's not bad at all. He had some great moments last year, and that's a good Redskin defense. So I'm going to take those 3 points.
Yeah, throw me on with the Redskins. We'll go to another 425 game. We got Dan Soder's 49ers versus Kate Quigley's Los Angeles Rams in Los Angeles, -1.5. 49ers. Just put me in for the 49ers real quick, Ken. And who do you got?
Well, I'm having a hard time with this one, Chad, because the Rams really aren't that good. Niners had that bad loss, and McCaffrey only touched the ball a couple of times, but from scrimmage, he had 62 total yards passing and receiving. I think he's going to be a lot busier in this game. That Ram defense is still good. I'm having a hard time, but I'm going to take the 49ers because I think McCaffrey is going to get a lot more touches.
Yeah, that was a pretty frustrating game for the 49ers. I mean, you're going up against the Chiefs, and it was pretty tough for them, but they just couldn't. It was just David and Goliath last week, but I'm going to say they get back on track. I'm going 49ers in this one.
Earl.
Originally I thought I'm going to go with the Rams at home, but there's just something about them this year, and I believe they're hiding something about Stafford's arm. He just looks off.
Are you starting more rumors?
Well, no, I'm just saying as a fan, when I watch the game, there's something not quite right about him. These days when a player breaks his ankle, they say it's an upper body injury. So even though the Ram defense is pretty spectacular when they're firing on all cylinders, you're not going to throw anything at Garoppolo he hasn't seen. So this is a pick 'em game, but I like the 49ers.
Janine Garofalo. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going full steam. New York Giants, who are 6-1, killing it, are going up against Craig Gass's Seattle Seahawks, -3 in Seattle. Earl.
This is the year of Gino, and I don't mean Bisconte. See, I'll pipe in some feuds here. I like the Seahawks at home. I like Seattle.
Tony.
Gosh, I was wondering about this one because I mean, Seattle does have the momentum, but so do the Giants. Could they really go 7-1 in week 8? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Geno Smith. I'm going to say Geno at home, and which ironically, Ken, Gino Bisconti's brother Pete is a Seahawks fan. So
yes, he is. I'm going to.
So who's the favorite Gino in that Pete likes?
This guy gets it.
I'm going to text Pete after we're done here. I'm taking Seattle. Seattle.
All right. I'm going to go Seattle too, Ken. Let's keep the ball rolling. We got 2 more games, and I got a hard out to get the content house. I got the Green Bay Packers up against Josh Potter's Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. The Bills are giving up 11.5. That's a lot. So I'm going to go with Packers on this one. Ken, Commissioner?
Listen, this is going to be brutal. I mean, it opened at 10
against Aaron Rodgers
and went right to 11.5. It's going to change again, but again, it's 4:20 Eastern time here.
You know what that means?
On Wednesday, so we got to go with what we have. You know what that means? Yeah, 4:20. I'm hitting refresh one last time here, Chad. It's still 11.5. I mean, I hate to do this. I just think that Green Bay is just a dumpster fire. I'm going to take Buffalo because Green Bay has nothing.
I'm going Buffalo. I'm going Buffalo as well, by the way, because it's just it again. You talk about teams that there's bad teams and there's frustrating teams this year, and the Packers probably, I mean, next to Tampa, top the list of frustrating teams, and I think the frustration continues. And going with Buffalo in this one.
Yeah, who would have thought 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL are just struggling, and they made decisions to come back. But did we get all the picks in, Earl?
We need Earl's.
I'm going to go with Buffalo. This could be a blowout, which is hard. It's just Aaron Rodgers is so good still, but the older, and Brady as well. But the older these guys get, the better the team they have to have around them.
Exactly. And just remember, I mean, there was all that talk about Green Bay, acquiescing to Rodgers and sending him someplace. They talked about Denver. They talked about Seattle. Earl, they talked about Pittsburgh, your Steelers. Yeah. And you know what? He ended up staying, holding them hostage, and he's making big money this year. He could have gone somewhere else like Brady did, like Montana did.
He went on Rogan. Anyways.
Yeah, I think, like you said, they gave him a fat deal so that, they probably had to let go of Devontae. Hey, we can't afford him. And, as these guys get older, I'll use another hockey reference. Whoa, what's going on here? Jesus Christ.
Breaking news. And the Eagles made a blockbuster trade for a pass rushing linebacker. So I'm looking that up real quick.
Hey guys, I hate to move it forward, but I got to get going.
We got to go.
Robert Quinn.
Did they trade for those 2 girls behind Chad?
Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn. Wow.
I love them. Sorry. I'll go with that. I think Buffalo's going to blow Green Bay out. Like you said, Ken, Green Bay's just got nothing for Rodgers to play with.
By the way, Earl, I think I just saw your ex-girlfriend in the come up for air.
Oh, what a bitch she was. I mean, I'm telling you, she had the nerve when we went to Applebee's to order 2 of everything and then a Diet Coke. Get out of my face. I told the waitress, give her a regular Coke. The extra 40 calories ain't going to kill her.
Ken, switch mine to Bills, and let's close this thing out on the Monday night game. We got Josh Sneed's the Cincinnati Bengals versus Tony Mazur's Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Are you going to the game, Tony?
No. I hope to be drunk or eating Halloween candy that night.
Yeah, -3.5 in Cleveland. Who do you got, Tony?
I'm going to go Cincinnati. I pick against the Browns a lot, but they're just not. They're getting worse. The coaches lost the locker room right now. There's a lot of stuff
when we
going
get to Deshaun Watson, we're going to turn it around.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, it seems like they're probably going to trade Kareem Hunt, I would say, next week. And he might, and somebody said the Eagles, some said the Rams would be looking at him. So I think that the dysfunction is really set in Cleveland. I think they showcase it on Halloween here because they usually do that. By Halloween, Brown season's usually over anyways. So I'm going to go Cincinnati.
Yeah, throw me down for Cincinnati, the Battle of I-71. Let's go with the Steelers fan, Earl Skakel.
Well, sorry, I was just on ghettogaggers.com. I'm gonna go with Cleveland because, like Tony said, I think they might start a dumpster fire and start getting rid of guys. But that means this week they're going to play good to showcase. All the good players they're going to trade are going to be showcased. So, these AFC North games are so tough to analyze because whether a team's 1-8 or 8-1, it's just they're always tight games. But I think Cleveland.
Ken, who do you got? Close it out.
Cincinnati.
We got Cincinnati.
I got Cincinnati.
All right. You can always go to jeffross.com, the roast master, for all your dates. There you go, Earl.
Oh, yeah. What a great looking guy. Fuck, man. And that's with Photoshop. Woo.
All right, guys, do your plugs. I got to go do my show, and I'm already late.
I've got 3 podcasts I don't want anyone to listen to, so I'm not going to give you their names.
And as of today, I'm a recent retiree, effective at the end of the year.
Congratulations.
Good for
Very
you.
nice.
Thank you.
Live your life.
You got it. I'm ready.
Let's do it. I'm living mine. I'm on the beach. Tony, what do you got? Check your brain.
You check your brain and check me out. I'm going to be a Casey Rays.
Yeah.
Performing.
Yeah. The Loft.
That's it.
All right. Well, there it is, guys. Thanks for listening. Leave a 5-star review on the iTunes. Follow Earl on Twitter. He's very good.
Earl Skakel. And please listen to the Comedy Store Wrestling podcast.
Do that for me. On behalf of the Commissioner, Ken Mosca, Tony Mazur, Earl Skakel, that's a wrap. Count the votes. Good night.